Hello, good morning, Cuba. And I did promise to make a video to Cuban seafarers, and I have to make this video in English. I made another video before of Venezuela, and I hope that this video is good for all the Caribbean. We all have relatives in Cuba. Uh, I know very close to my family that had some properties in Cuba before the Spanish were kicked out, and also in Argentina, in Chile, in Peru, in many different countries. So really is a political video to unite intrinsic compound value. That is what we can provide to Cuba because governments are governments, but humans like seafarers are for me heroes because if each of them brings $20,000 to their country, then this is one job. But in Spain, for example, it was demonstrated with coronavirus that one Nissan factory in Barcelona job creates 10 more indirect jobs. So in reality, one hero seafarer brings 10 plus 1 is 11. So is $220,000 impact to the Cuba economy. And this is the responsibility of each of us. We all have to fight for the country, but we can do peacefully for my neighbor, Cuba neighbor. And Cuba has also many Caribbean neighbors, and we all can bring this money to Cuba in this case. So it is very strategic maritime sector, and it is situated in the middle of the Caribbean. So no one is going to kick Cuba out of the center of the Caribbean. So it's a strategic maritime position. Therefore, seafarers, it is 1.5 million seafarers in the world and 1.5 million seafarers at home. So we have 1.5, 1.5. Altogether, they earn around, well, 1.5 times 20,000 is $30 billion per year. So I think is a very interesting strategic proposition for Cubans and Cuba because each of you can bring this money to your country. I do this with my country, and in Spain, I bring to Spain some quite a lot of money from foreign ship owners, and I try to invest this in Spain, giving employment in Spain, and I give employment on board the ships and at the shore. So this is how I get income from a foreign country to my country, Spain. And this is very important that I make this video in English because 95% of the language on board ships is English. For example, your biggest neighbor, United States, has something like 400 million inhabitants, Canada, some 40, so this is 440. Then we can put Jamaica and then Caribbean countries. And so we have a huge amount of English speaking passengers, ship owners. And for example, if we have a ship and then we have, as example I mentioned in the Venezuela video, we have a baby falling overboard. We have to go and catch the baby. If, oh, I don't understand, then baby gone. So it is very important to have one language because then all the papers, swimming books, training, all the requirements of the Maritime Labour Convention and international regulations. We have very close Panama flag, Bahamas flag, Bermuda flag, Jamaica, all the Caribbean countries and kids. And so then we have other flags like Singapore, Malta, Cyprus. All of these have 95% approx English language. So this is why I make this video in English. I have some other 160 videos in English you can view, so to learn the maritime language, because most of the times it's always the same, is basic wage, overtime, leave, pension, sanitary assistance, social bonus, enlistment contract, protection and indemnity, flags. I made videos of flags, videos of protection and indemnity, videos for seafarers. So, and then in the training side, we have to improve that. And we have in Latvia novicontas.lv. I think this Latvian company is the best in the world for training, but perhaps there is another, because, for example, they do basic training in 4 days, $400. This is a record. In Spain, it takes 3 different courses, 1,700 euros, and you can never end the queue. There's 3 queues, whilst in Novicontas is 1 queue, so it's much faster, and we can have a deadline when the seafarer is ready to join the ship. In Spain, it's not possible to know the date of joining, therefore we cannot guarantee the company that this is the case, and so then the ship cannot wait for the seafarer or complicate things. Enough complicated is today with coronavirus, the visas, the flights, the cost of flights going up. So now is a huge advantage for Cuba. Why? For example, Spain is a disaster for training. In Spain, they rather pay people for not work that, than train people, 3 million people to bring 30 billion. Yes? Well, this is what they do, the politicians, and the judges, they allow them because they are in the same game. So it's a great opportunity for Cuba to take advantage of the inefficiency of other countries. Other countries, for example, are too far away. If we had then, for example, Asian nationalities, we had European nationalities with high coronavirus. Today, if your country is low risk coronavirus, because statistics, then perhaps you can take advantage of that. So you have a huge advantage in that respect. In the third place is the geographical economical situation. Cuba is right in the middle of America, as well as Venezuela, as well as Honduras, Mexico. They can take great advantage of this. No one can kick Cuba out of the place. It is very important strategically, and this is a competitive advantage, like a lot of, say, mathematicians and investors think about what is my competitive advantage. So I want to share this with you. Everything you can invest into English, if you understand this video, Yes, if you do not understand, you can watch it twice, if not three times, if not four times. If you do that, then you will probably get a job in the maritime sector. Meanwhile, the Cuban government can train the seafarers in Cuba because we have huge possibilities. Some countries are inutiles in training, inutiles in unemployment benefits, inutiles in all kinds of possibilities to get 30 billion to their countries. They hide this information to the citizens. So this is a great way now with this coronavirus. So you take your own competitive advantage. Cuban seafarer, Cuban human. You must invest. No one can take away your English. No one can take away your training if you learn in the videos about flags, enlistment contracts, agency contracts. Now that I think I've made quite some videos and all are maritime related. So I'm trying to teach. If you think that there is another subject item that I could help training with my vast experience in international maritime business and all this, then I would be very happy to help do it for free. So then Cuba has a great advantage for this $30 billion yearly. It is one thing, 1 year. But if we look at the intrinsic value of 100 shares, then 30 billion times 100, I think is 3 trillion. Yes, trillion. Yes, yes. Yes, divided in 3 million families in Cuba. And this is the most beautiful thing about this. No one teaches this to uh, Cuban government and to Cuban citizens. I do, because this is not the political area. This is just plain business. And this is corporate social responsibility. What can I provide the humanity? Because I've been so lucky to enjoy my job and to teach others the little things I have learned here and there, and I continue to learn every day constantly. So, what do we have to change this in Cuba? One, seafarers are not paid in US dollars. We have to change this, please, because if we sign enlistment contract, this contract is between me, the employer, and the seafarer. So I must make sure the seafarer gets the money. Finished. I cannot send the money to a government and the government send, sorry, in different currency some paper to the seafarer. This is not possible. No, I am the employer. The currency in the enlistment contract is dollars. Therefore, I must be able to send it there. So this is a huge conflict there is today. Then number two, we are the ones that sign the enlistment contract. And yes, we can send a copy to a government official or so, but this is our job. No one else can look after this because these are international rules and regulations according International Labour Organization, International Maritime Organization. I explained all this in many videos before. You can find out, you can learn, invest in yourself. Then we also have another problem in Cuba. We have to go via a selection and placement agencies which are government owned. And this is a conflict of interest. I know that the situation in Cuba is today, but I was asked to make a video because some Cubans love their country, love the people, And they told me, please, what would you recommend? And well, I open-heartedly say what I would do. Then it is really a huge conflict if these recruitment and placement agencies, I believe in some other countries we have the same problem, which is, for example, in Honduras and probably in Panama, the government wants also to put their hands into this. But I'm sorry, but this is a conflict of interest. The private companies cannot compete with the public. It's obviously not fair. It's not fair competition. So one of the problems we have had in the past, because I have been working with Cubans for the last 30 years, is that when we require this seafarer or chief engineer, for example, to go back to the ship, then it is the recruitment and placement company controlled by the government, the one that tells us what chief engineer is going to join. No, I am the employer, I decide. I want to continue my labor relationship with this chief engineer, I make decision. I'm sorry, you cannot interfere in who is the candidate to return to the ship. And this is the problem that a lot of ship owners have had in the past. They start, everything is happy, 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 and then suddenly after 3, 4, 5 years, then it is not the same people. We cannot make a team. This is like a family. We must know each other. There's safety regulations. There is environment regulations. There is commercial regulations. There is the flag, the type ship, the crew. There is trade regulations and all these to adjust, adapt a new crew after 5 years, slowly decreasing the time on board, the experience in the type of ship, and these critical experience factors of the crew make that it is unfeasible to continue, because then we end up embarking new crew, new crew, new crew. So it is not possible to manage the crew management safely and for the long term of the operation. And this is a conflict we have had in the past. If we could directly contract the crew, directly pay the crew, directly pay the enlistment contract, and if we could have help from the Cuban government to train these people, we could do so in vast amounts because the ships are there. United States is a huge market. Mexico is a huge market. Hopefully one day when this coronavirus is finished, the cruise business will pop up and they will not have crew available. Should there be huge amount of availability from Cuba, this grant is for you. You can start working yesterday, as we say the Basques. Do it for yesterday, never mañana, no, ayer. Okay, so then if we start working like this, I am sure that the uh, jobs, the social corporate responsibility can change, improve, and that in the future, this income of 30 billion per year to Cuba, then probably will make the economy go better. Shipping is also very strategic. We have seen today that the hospitality, retail, industry down. This is the tendency. The hospitality, because the virus, the retail, because online, and we cannot compete with huge online uh, uh, .com platforms unless we are very, 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 very competitive. And also the taxes to small, medium companies, too high, bureaucracy too high. So you see, this is also a way to study how to improve this maritime sector and the seafarers in Cuba. Then we also have the third step, which is the industry, and the industry is going to die because tax. So it's not coronavirus. If we have no tax in the crew management business and the crewing, if we have then also no bureaucracy in the retail and we can do direct, digital, and then in the first place, if we avoid the virus and the seafarers get priority in the planes, priority in the airports, police, everybody must understand these people are heroes. They bring money. We never complain. So I hope with this coronavirus, in the infinity years that Cuba will be in the same place, this is strategic. These people need to have the uh, courses, the Seaman book, the passport, the visa, the PCR coronavirus. They must have priority. Please, Cuba, please. These seafarers are heroes. No one brings so much money to many countries like Philippines, 400,000 seafarers. Yes. Well, perhaps we are little, we are small, perhaps we don't complain, perhaps we united are 400,000 in Philippines, perhaps in Spain we are 20,000, perhaps in Venezuela is 10,000, perhaps Ukraine is 20, Latvia is 10, UK it's 5, perhaps. And with this coronavirus, perhaps we need to renew the papers of all the seafarers. We need to help them in the airport, the airline companies, if they bring these heroes 20 kilos of baggage, perhaps you must allow them to bring 40 because they are going for 4 months and they are not going to see their families for 4 months. And so these people are heroes, seafarers. So perhaps you also plane company can issue some grant so that they have these 40 kilos. And perhaps if there is a first class seat, you can put them there for free. Or perhaps instead of one tray of food, you can give them 2 trays. Or perhaps one bottle water, 2 bottles. Or perhaps instead of waiting with everybody, these people are strategic, essential workers. They bring 90% of the worldwide goods. So perhaps everybody can help because this 30 billion 1 year, if you think 100 years, it's 3 trillion. Yes. But if the seas do not dry, then it could be 30 billion, times infinity. So, well, I hope it is infinity. So, as I mentioned in the Ocean's Wave video before, then we are happy because if we knew how long we have this income to Cuba, it's bad news because then the planet is finished. So, muchísimas gracias. Suerte a todos. Ánimo. Goodbye.